Thank you for coming back to watch some more videos with me. I wanted to take a little bit of time and talk about cheating in chess. I know if you've watched the video I posted last night on the Leningrad Dutch that I played this game last night with an individual who played a remarkable game, and I was a little suspicious of it. I like to be um, optimistic, positive, and believe in the integrity of people in general. So, I mean, while it is possible that like maybe somebody had the game of their life, maybe they were just on fire and they were seeing all the moves. There's a little part of me, and I'm sure of all of you as well, that gets a little bit skeptical when an opponent plays a perfect game, basically. And um, it's unfortunate that we have to kind of think about that when we play online games, but that's the nature of it now. That's the nature of online play. There's so much cheating going on that we can't help but kind of wonder. And something seems to be lost in the game because we can't trust in the integrity of whether or not we're playing another human being that's, trying to get better, or whether or not we're playing an engine. Um, and I've had really great results in games previously as well. I've had games where chess.com has said I've played at a grandmaster level, and they've been exceptional games, and I felt like I was in the zone. So, this 2550 rating, uh, performance rating is one that I've earned, and I know it's possible. I know that it's a very um, achievable. Now they're rare. I don't earn them all the time, and maybe my opponent just played a really great game and found all of the correct moves. So I don't immediately jump to wanting to say my opponent is using an engine or cheating, because, a beautiful game is a beautiful game. Um, but I did get a little suspicious during this one because of the quality of the moves and, the brilliancies, and every time I, feel like I know what's going on, opponent throws something at me that I just didn't see coming. And that's okay. I don't see all the moves. That's why I'm a, 17 to 1900. I've been floating in that range for a while, is because I have some areas that I need to improve on. So it's reasonable to think that I'm not going to see all the moves, because I'm still not at that level either. But this attack just seems so unnatural to me that I'm not sure that a grandmaster would have found some of these ideas here. And a friend of mine messaged me after the game, and he saw the game posting that this move, um, G4, really starts an attack that is coordinated, you know, by all of these previous moves, uh, kind of setting up this G4 idea and taking as a blunder. Um, it's pretty easy for me to see in hindsight that I've weakened this diagonal here, um, and why it was a mistake in hindsight. But to know pushing G4 that I can't take because the bishop's coming back here and the knight's going to come here, it is all seeable. It is. But I wonder, um, I am forced to wonder, when my opponent plays at such variability, such different levels. And this is my opponent's statistics on chess.com here. I went through and dug through some of their uh, game history, because I don't like to report people for cheating. I know chess.com is, this huge company, and it's easy to think that maybe they have scores and scores of people that are just devoting their time to crunching through and making sure the site's clean of cheaters and all that stuff. But I don't want to report people unnecessarily, and I want to believe in the integrity of the game. But it is suspicious to me that his rapid play seems to only improve, and there's no getting worse. But to be fair, I mean, my opponent started in March of this year, so new accounts are always a little bit suspicious because you have to wonder, was this person kicked off, and are they coming back with a new account? Maybe it's a kid that's starting out their account first time. So there's reasons to have new accounts out there, but it is a little bit suspicious of somebody that's been on there not for very long. For contrast, I've been on since 2011. Here's my graph, and this is just for rapid games. But since 2011, there's been quite a bit of variability, particularly in the last couple of years, because chess.com changed their classification of some of the time controls. And I used to play a lot of 10-minute games, and they were previously classified as blitz. I think now they're classified as rapid. So if you look at my blitz, there's my all-time blitz is, there was a ton of blitz games in that period where I was playing 10-minute games that were no longer classified as blitz. But there's a much larger sample size. So even in the last year, there's lots of ups and downs, and I play a lot of games. I've played like something like 20,000 chess games on chess.com. I've peaked at 1979. And where is my overall number of games played? So 2,800 rapid games under this new classification system. And another 12,000. So total, I've played over 20,000 games on chess.com. I'm pretty sure that that's the number. So lots and lots of games to choose from, huge sample size. My opponent has been on since March of this year, so smaller sample size, under 500 games in rapid. There's also his blitz to consider. He plays his blitz at a sub 1,000 level. So there is some variability here. There is some ups and downs here, and this might be more typical of a graph I'd expect to see of some ups and downs. We don't just improve. We get up, we have a bad day, we play some board chess. And his blitz rating, when he seems to be having his ups and downs, is under 1,000. That's a huge discrepancy. Now I play worse at blitz than I do at rapid as well. My blitz is significantly lower than my rapid, but I'm not playing at a sub 1,000 level. At 1,500, at 1,600, there's understanding of concepts and ideas that just you don't fully grasp it under 1,000. And to go from playing, let me see if I can pull up his game history here. So plays a lot of blitz. Most of his games are blitz, and every few weeks he seems to come back to rapid, and he plays one or two rapid games. He's played several in the last 24 hours because I messaged him and kind of called him out for his behavior. But all of these games are played in 5-minute time controls, 5 minute plus 5 seconds, 5 minutes flat, somewhere in there. And some of them are played at pretty high accuracy. He has a 98% accuracy here. 82% accuracy. That's probably a little more realistic. 73% accuracy. But all of these games are also pretty short. And in shorter games, it's easier to have higher accuracy because you don't have as many moves. You don't have as many chances to make a mistake. And in the opening, when it's all theory, it's easy to maintain a higher accuracy when the game's only 14 moves, 12 moves. So that it's a huge red flag. Playing these games in under 5 minutes at a 1000 level. And yes, 15 minutes is a lot more time than 5 minutes. You should be able to play a little bit better. But if we look at the game that we played yesterday, opponent has 13 minutes on his clock still. He's played it in under 5 minutes. I mean, he gains back the 10 seconds every time, so maybe it's gotten down to 5 minutes. But he played this game so quickly that it may as well have been a blitz game. Granted, he had my time on the clock as well to be thinking. That's something to consider. So all of this is about kind of weighing whether or not I wanted to make a complaint on this individual because I really wanted to weigh all of the circumstantial evidence here to make my decision because I don't want to just make frivolous claims of cheating. I know that there is a huge problem of chess cheating on the internet. It's so easy to just, have another computer open here, have your phone beside you with an engine running. And I just don't understand why you would want to do that. It really destroys the integrity and the joy in the game. And I play this to improve because I love the game. I enjoy every chess game I played, and I don't condone cheating. I don't cheat at my chess games because it kind of defeats the point. I may as well just sit here and watch the engine play. It does nothing from my brain. It does nothing from my emotion or my, highs and lows of the thrill of this game to be using an engine. I do suspect that my opponent is probably a juvenile, probably a kid, because the attempt to hide his engine use is pretty crude. That kind of discrepancy, when you get to the higher levels, advanced, higher intermediate, advanced levels, it doesn't become necessary to use the engine for every move. In the game I played with him yesterday in the Leningrad, every move was top engine move, maybe second choice, but only after the computer had a chance to think about it for a little bit and then rearrange its order. Most of his moves from start to finish were all top engine moves. And to have that level of understanding, you would expect to see a lot more consistency across all of his games. There wouldn't be games played at an 800 level and then a couple of games here and there played at grandmaster level, because the grandmaster level games require a lot of understanding that you're gonna see some 18 1600 level games in there somewhere, and that just doesn't pan out for the games that I reviewed on this individual. For instance, this game here played at a 98% level. That's only a 12 move game. Let's see if we can find a different one. Now chess.com has their own algorithms, and they I've reported it. I did end up deciding to report it based on all of the stuff that I found in his profile here. This is a 98% game here. It's not one that I played with him, and he does take a little bit more time on some of these moves, but it's it's not a whole lot. Not a whole lot of time. 36 seconds there. 14 seconds, 18 seconds, 11 seconds, 24 seconds. And it's a faster time control. It's under 5 minutes, so you're going to have to move a little quicker. But a 98% game with 31 moves. Let's just run through this and see, um, what moves are top engine moves here. And our antagonist here has the black pieces, it looks like. So the opening moves we can probably dismiss. In fact, I'll go to the review just to get through the book. And we have another graph here of a steady decline, and then suddenly we fall off a cliff. There's a couple of brilliancies in here, and he played it. Okay, he played it at a 1750 level. All right, so that's a little more reasonable, I would expect, but this is still pretty suspicious. So book. I'm gonna play book. When I confronted him about it, also, he kind of mouthed off a little bit to me and told me I needed to learn my Dragon Sicilian and my Queen's Gambit before I start talking to him about cheating. And I was quite confused because we played in Dutch. I mean, he didn't even know what the opening system was called. We're still in book here. He's playing a King's Indian. And so we're all playing good moves here. I'm going to start, kind of looking at the engine moves now. And black has a 0.2 edge here. So slight edge for black. Both players are under 1,000 level. So you would expect to see a few mishaps here. So Queen C2, top engine move here. E takes F3 and Knight B5. These are the top engine moves. And white goes with, Rook B1. I don't see the purpose of that move. Why would you do that move? There doesn't seem to be a clear plan there. There's no pushing of the B pawn. The knight's in the way. Why move your rook to B1? Now, it's not a blunder. You can move your knight and then push the pawn. But that doesn't seem to have a clear plan immediately. And at this level, it's just kind of a random move. You'd expect to see those with people, playing at a 1,000 level. Here, 95, top engine move, gives black a 0.6 edge, 95. Bishop b7, that seems pretty natural. You've already opened up the diagonal to fianchetto. But top engine move, right here. What's the follow-up? Okay. It centralizes the knight. You have to have a good understanding of positional play to make that move. But it does run into this pretty quickly. You can take en passant. So it's not really it's kind of a superficial threat. But black plays a top engine move. White plays a good move, moving his bishop or his knight out of the way. And Queen E7 was the top engine move, but it rearranged. Knight D3, top engine move. Queen E7 and Knight E8. Knight backwards. But black here chooses to go with Knight G4. Okay, it's not on the engine, not on the engine list. Queen G5 here. I would have been super suspicious if he played Queen G5 because how does a 1,000 level player see the purpose behind that move? What is the purpose behind that move? It avoids a queen trade. You're not going to trade queens immediately, leave those on the board. Aside from that, prepares this move. But I know plenty of 2,000 level players that wouldn't be thinking about this as a preparation for this with the queen and bishop. guarding that diagonal. So he doesn't play queen g5. He plays an immediate checkmate threat. Okay. So you don't have to, like, cheating isn't necessarily using the engine for every single move, like he apparently did in my game. When you have a little bit of understanding, you can play out, and then when you don't feel like you know what's going on anymore, or you feel like you are behind, then you pull up the engine and you ask Stockfish, what's the best move here? How do I get out of this situation? Um, so I mean, maybe he's not using an engine here. Knight h6, top engine move. For a second, it did say rook d8, which is the antagonist's move here, rook d8. And that makes sense. It attacks the queen. Okay. Doesn't take a rocket scientist, doesn't take an engine to see attacking the queen might be a good idea. Okay. And that's a blunder. Why is queen c2 a blunder? Top engine move is knight f3 check. What 930 and 946 player finds knight f3 and sees that this is a blunder because it allows knight f3? Nobody. No, you don't play at that level with 3 minutes and 55 seconds left on your clock still, and have that rating. It just, Black saw an opportunity here to go up a big lead because the engine said knight f3 is a great move. And knight f3, oh, looky there. It's a brilliant move. Black is not playing at a 1000 level. Occasionally he is, but he doesn't, like, what 1000 finds this? If he were truly playing this game, I would expect his rating to be quite a bit higher overall, and not be playing some of his lower level games. Let's find one of his lower level games where maybe we're not using an engine. We're just trying to play with our own skill. Maybe one we lost. Even the losses are played at, okay. Here's one played at 54% accuracy, 53% accuracy, 72% accuracy. These 70s. And the accuracy of the moves is greatly dependent on your opponent's moves as well. If your opponent is playing super poorly, it's easier for you to have a higher accuracy because you can find the punishment for those moves. If your opponent's playing super accurately, it's kind of, your accuracy is going to drop a little bit too. Playing with high accuracy is so hard to do, and it is also dependent on your opponent's moves. So let's pull up this move. It seems to, oh, it's a 19 move game. Let's pull up a 58 move game here that he lost. Okay, he's playing white pieces here. And analysis. Not analysis. I don't want analysis. I want review. So we can skip through the book lines. You can send me money for that Coca-Cola if you want. Okay, so the graph here is kind of all over the place. Um, White has an edge, he gives it up. Black has an edge, it goes back to equal. Black has an edge again. White has a huge edge, and then it falls off a cliff, and black takes over. Okay, so there's lots of ups and downs in this game, which is what you would expect at a 900 level of chess. Book, a Benoni, a Queen's Gambit. We transposed into a Queen's Gambit because White didn't know to push that pawn. We've offered a queen trade immediately. So yeah, an 1900 player playing at 2500. I mean, you don't offer that queen trade. You know the queen's coming here. You know that, the bishop blocking or the knight blocking is a much better move. I mean, this pawn isn't going to attack it because it can just be taken. Why offer a queen trade to block this check, just to block the check? A higher level player would block that with the knight, maybe even the bishop. Probably the knight because we want to develop the bishop somewhere else. Best move, take. Okay. I'm not knocking best moves either. I played plenty of games where I play a lot of best moves. Sometimes they're easy to find, sometimes they're not. Okay, that is a mistake. Mistake because why? We've moved the knight away. We've attacked the queen. But we've also let the pawn capture without capturing back. There's mate threatened right there. But we can take with check first. Check has to be responded to. So this mate threat can be answered in a second after we guarantee our material advantage. Okay. So that's a miss because we didn't, I'm assuming, I'm not analyzing this deeply, but I'm assuming we could just take the pawn there and keep our material. White chooses to block the mate threat first. And okay. I mean, checkmate is pretty ominous. So he takes, which black considers, which is a miss for black. Why is that a miss for black? Well, let's ask Stockfish. So e takes f7 was best here. We take with check first. We don't need to block with the queen immediately. This is a miss because of bishop takes e6. The queen is already defended, and black has an opportunity to capture the pawn back and not go down material. So by taking the queen, white's kind of forced to take back, otherwise mate. But I think he's still going to get an opportunity to take the bishop or to take the pawn back. He still could have taken this with check first. So you don't, yeah, that makes perfect sense. So white is not forced to take the queen back immediately. He could still give check. He could still solidify his material advantage. But he snap takes the queen back. Okay. Perfectly reasonable for a 1000 level player to think like that, to forget that check has to be answered immediately. Now the bishop check. Black again. loses the opportunity to like solidify his material edge. That's kind of a shaky move. Now we finally get the pawn off the board, and we castle queenside. Okay, in what world would an 1900 level player think castling queenside here would be okay? It's going to take a move or two to get castled kingside, but this king is just super exposed over here. It hangs this pawn immediately. Now I've made poor decisions too. Like sometimes you just have brain farts and things don't work out. Like they just don't come together for you. Sometimes we have bad games. But old boy here is having, is playing like a 1000 level player in this game and is doing so like frequently enough to maintain this 1000 level rating through ups and downs over the last 6-7 months, but only improves his rapid rating and only gets better at rapid chess, even though he plays in less than 5 minutes of clock. I did find a couple other games, which I'm not going to try and search for now because I don't want to overdo the length of this video just talking about cheating. But he plays just as quickly in rapid games as he does in 5-minute blitz. So the rating discrepancy doesn't make sense. If there was more time taken in rapid, maybe I could consider that. With all of these things combined, it was enough to make me want to report him for cheating and let chess.com do the investigation, because they will or won't do something about it. I don't know, but though I just wanted to walk through those steps and my thought process and kind of why and when I choose to report cheaters. I'm sure that I've played quite a few over the years and not caught on to what they were doing. This guy just kind of made it blatantly obvious, though, and I was kind of suspicious from the beginning. Not from the beginning, but during the game, I got a little suspicious. I like to go through and research the profile a little bit, talk it out with myself, examine the quality of previous games, look at their statistics, and really kind of come to a conclusion as to whether or not I really believe this person lacks integrity and cheats at chess. And that may be a bit judgmental, and I apologize. I don't like to be judgmental. Perhaps this is a kid that has a lot to learn, and we all make mistakes when we're kids, and part of the growing pains of life. But maybe this will be an opportunity for him to learn a little bit of integrity and to appreciate the game for its own beauty and for what he can take out of it, rather than just having a computer feed him moves. I hope that's the case. I certainly don't want to play him again. I went ahead and blocked him because I don't like playing computers. If I want to play a computer, I'll turn on Fritz and I'll play a computer. Come to chess.com to try and play people. And that's, for side note, I mean, I think that's one of the reasons I don't think that over the board chess is going to go anywhere, because of that simple reason that the integrity of the game is too easily questioned in online play. And in high level chess, they've even begun questioning over the board play. As you're well aware, I'm sure you've followed all of the drama with the high level cheating scandals that have gone on. A lot of that I feel is egocentric. There's a lot of people's pride and identity wrapped up in chess at the highest level, and to lose a game is rough. I don't like losing a game either, but there's a level of grace and humility that we accept it with, and we know that we're not robots and perfect chess players, and we're going to stumble, we're going to make mistakes. And the answer to that isn't, you know, pulling a computer up in game to try and answer all the questions for us. It's trying to exercise your brain. And um, I'll get off my soapbox now. I just wanted to offer up my thoughts and provide a little bit of maybe entertainment uh, on the topic of cheating, because it's so relevant in online chess right now. So tune in for some more games. I'll try and get some more posted in the near future. I appreciate you all. Come back and watch some more chess.